Hi everyone, this is Monica Rivas and my project was on geometry topics 1 through 4. My topic in particular was number 1, how to apply geometric properties and relationships to solve problems involving perimeter area and surface area and volume. The two activities I decided to choose were both found on Khan Academy. You don't need an account to log in or to be able to use these. You can just click on the link and it takes you straight there, and it's super simple and super easy. So the first activity is only on how to find perimeter area and surface area. I'm sorry, perimeter area and volume. Sorry. So when you click on the link, it sends you to Khan Academy and it takes you straight to the lesson, perimeter area and volume. So it starts off with perimeter. It explains what perimeter is, how to find it, and little like math jargon that you can use to help you. So like for this one example for perimeter, P stands for perimeter, S stands for side. So to find the perimeter of an object, all you have to do is add up the sides. So for this abnormal object, you add up all the sides. To find the perimeter of a cube or a square, you just add up all 4. Since they're all equal, you could just take one side and multiply it by 4. To find the perimeter of a rectangle, you take the length and the width and you add them, and then you multiply it by 2. You do that because the lengths of a rectangle are the same and the widths of a rectangle are also the same. So you can just add them and multiply them by 2. And it tells you exactly what to do, plug them in, and then how to solve. And then it goes on to talk about how to find the area of objects. And it gives you also the definition of what area is, how to find it, and little acronyms like A is for area, S is for side, so on and so forth. Now, to find the area and the volume of objects, it all depends on what object you're looking for, or that you're looking at, I'm sorry. So for area, there'll be different types of formulas according to the shape, and it's the same thing with volume. Here we are at volume. Okay, and now it goes to your turn. So this is the part where the student will have a practice round. There's about 5 questions, I believe, that all coincide with perimeter, area, and volume. Just different kinds of questions about those same topics. So the first one is perimeter, pretty simple. It asks for what is the perimeter of the rectangle above. So if the student does not remember or panics and he or she forgot, that's also okay. Excuse me. Because they can just scroll up right above and find perimeter for a rectangle right there. Length plus width times 2. So we have 3 and 5 as our length and width, so we would add them. That would be 8. And then we multiply by 2, and that gives us 16. You type in what your answer is here in the box, then you click check to see if you got it right or wrong, and there it is. Now, if we were to get this wrong, or maybe the student mistyped and put 15 instead of 16, however the situation is, if they really just did not know and they guessed or they mistyped, it'll tell you that you got it wrong, and you can also click on explain right below it, which I, as a teacher and as a student, I would appreciate, because this is telling me and explaining to me how I got it wrong and how to do it the right way. So if I put 15 as a perimeter for this rectangle, that's wrong, and here's why. For the length, it was 5, and for the width, it was 3. And the formula for perimeter is length plus width times 2. So I have to add the 5 and 3 first, and then multiply it by 2, and that's how I get 16. So it gives you the steps on how to get the correct answer and all that. So really, really nice. And then it goes on to find the area of a triangle, find the area of a triangle with just base and area, so then you need to figure out what the height is, volume, so on and so forth. And then at the very end, after you've answered all of the questions, it gives you a things to remember. So this could be written down by the student to have as a helpful sheet, something, it could be a small piece of paper, printer paper, or simple line notebook paper. So it gives them the formulas to the different types of shapes. So for perimeter, you have square and rectangle. For area, you have square, rectangle, parallelogram, triangle. And for volume, you have rectangle or rectangular solid. So yes, I really enjoyed doing this activity. I've already done it myself, and I found it a bit challenging for a few, but most of all, it was pretty simple, and I'm sure the students can click that explain button if they don't understand the first time, and even if they don't understand after that, they're more than welcome to ask the teacher. But I like Khan Academy because it gives you the explanation if you got it wrong, and even before you try the test questions, it gives you most of the information that you need and most of the equations and formulas that you need. So that was the activity for perimeter, area, and volume. Now I'll show you the activity for surface area, which, as I mentioned, is also found on Khan Academy. So it's pretty much the same setup. It gives you the definition of what surface area is. It tells you how to find it. It gives you an example. And right here, these blue letters, if there's some vocabulary that the student may not know, they have these links built into the activity. So this is what is a net. Because to find the surface area of a rectangular prism in this example, you need to break the rectangular prism into a net, which for us, the teachers and the grown-ups, we know that this is what a net is. But for the student, if they've heard the phrase and maybe like briefly or very slightly they remember what it is, but are not sure, they can click on this link and it gives them an explanation of what a net is. So, a net is a pattern that you can cut and fold to make a model of a solid shape. For example, this pattern below is a net for a cube. So then you can click hide explanation or keep it there just to, reference back and forth to, but that's also super duper helpful. Here's the example. It continues. More for them to read. And here's the first set. So in this one set, there are 3 different problems. They have the square pyramid, they have the cube, and they have the triangular prism. So we'll do the cube. So to find the surface area of the cube, you need to find first the area. So you need to do side times side. So we know for a cube, all the sides are equal. So 2 1/2 is the length of one side. When you multiply that to itself, because you need to do side times side, you get 25/4. That is your area. After you get your area, you have to then multiply it by the number of faces you have in your cube. So if you remember the explanation from up here, it actually tells you and shows you how many faces the net is of a cube, and it's 6. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after we find our area, which remember is 25/4, you have to multiply by the 6. And after you multiply by the 6, you get 75/2. So if I type it like that, it is correct. And there is an explanation right below it. So if you got it wrong or if you got it right and you aren't sure and you want to double check if your answer is correct for like an actual purpose, you can always put explain, and it tells you step by step right there what to do first, what to plug in, how to solve, and there's your answer. So I think pretty much both activities are pretty much interactive because you need to read all the information before you go on to try the practice tests. I mean, if the student is confident and that they know how to find the surface area and perimeter and all that, then this would be a good thing for review for a student like that. But if a student doesn't know and they need to practice, this is also helpful for those kinds of students. So Khan Academy and these two activities seem to be very well-rounded and helpful for all kinds of students. It gives very good and detailed explanations. It gives you a good amount of prior knowledge, background knowledge, and it gives you plenty of things to remember and other resources like what is the net and stuff like that. So I, as a teacher or as a future teacher, would use these two activities when giving the lesson about how to find perimeter area, surface area, and volume. So I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can let me know. You can always copy the links if you want to use these in any of your future lessons. Just go to the PowerPoint and they should be there. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.